Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. So currently in Forza Horizon 4, there's almost 800 vehicles in the total car list, which for an open world racing game is huge. Considering at launch the game only boasted around 450, that's nearly double during the game's lifespan. Now, throughout the monthly updates, many of our most requested cars were granted into the franchise. Cars like the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, Ferrari 488 Pista, and the Koenigsegg Jesko were all brought in amongst many more. Even the Project 1 now has been granted for Horizon 5. However, with that said, the last proper update for Forza Horizon 4 was just released about a week ago, where the last and final new car into the game was the Vol, and as cool as that car is, paying homage to the upcoming Horizon 5 game set in Mexico, many highly requested cars in the Horizon series were left to be desired. As of making this video, the full car list for Horizon 5 has not yet been finalized, and with rumors speculating that the total amount of cars featured in Horizon 5 at launch will be less than the total amount of cars that Horizon 4 currently has. Fingers crossed that should some cars be made obsolete from Horizon 4, then we hope those car slots gets replaced with 8 of the most requested cars that you, the community, have asked for all over the interweb, including the comments of my videos for Forza Horizon 5. Starting off with number 8, the Toyota Chaser. I feel like this request has been pushed on by me a lot, as I love the JZX 100. It's one of those cars where if you're not a car person, you're probably wondering, why does this Toyota Camry look so weird? It's only those that are into their Japanese cars will know what this car is capable and used for. As a very popular choice to use as a drift car, I think it's time to expand on the Formula Drift cars as the go-to drift vehicles and choose some of the ones that actually rule the streets. Now, although this request was originally for Horizon 4, we certainly do hope to see this sometime in Horizon 5. It may be a bit of a stretch as a car that really caters for a tiny community, but if Playground Games can bring in cars like the Nissan Pulsar GT-IR in Horizon 4, why not the Chaser for Horizon 5? Number 7, the Honda Civic 1.5 VTI. Is this even going to happen at this rate? Look, for those who have played the Forza franchise for years now, will know that the last time we'd seen this car was back in Forza Motorsport 4 back on the Xbox 360. And while it was cool to drive the little front wheel drive hatchback around a circuit or through Fujimi Kaido, we want to see this car in 4K now and in a setting where it's open world. And honestly, there couldn't be a better time to bring the EG6 into the franchise, as Mexico have a huge love for their 90s Honda Accords and Honda Civics. Man, we've been requesting this car for years now, and ever since Forza went on the Xbox One generation, some of the coolest Japanese sports cars disappeared, but the developers know, and we know, that it's time to resurrect cool vibrations. Number 6, the McLaren 675 LT. I know what you're all saying. Eric, why do we even want this car when there's newer McLarens than this now? Well, the truth is, it seems as though this is the only McLaren out of the mid-2010s that's been eluded from the McLaren lineup. We've got the 650S, the 650S Spider, the 570S. Now, even though there were more McLarens on offer during those years, we all would have imagined that the 675 Longtail would join the car list in Horizon 4, but apparently not. And as days go by now, odds of this McLaren being featured looks to be gradually fading away. But here's the interesting thing. If we take a look at a concept art for the prologue for Forza Horizon 4, you can actually see this very bright green McLaren in the distance superimposed onto the concept art. It most certainly looks like a 675 LT, and I'm sure the developers are aware that we as a community also want this car as well. Number 5, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren. Here is possibly the only car on this list that we will most likely never ever get. last seen in Forza Motorsport 6 and Forza Horizon 2 on their respected series. There's a lot of speculations being thrown around as to why the Mercedes SLR McLaren has gone missing from the Forza franchise. Some say it has something to do with the joint partnership between Mercedes and McLaren, which at the time was very different to what it is today. However, that also doesn't really make that much sense either, as games like Gran Turismo Sport and The Crew 2 have the SLR featured, and those games came out years after Forza Motorsport 6. Interestingly though, the SLR has been seen in a debugged version of Forza Horizon 5, where you could actually access this car through the developer's menu. And that was the last unofficial time it was spotted in a Forza title. Number 4, the DeLorean DMC-12. So, who got duped by Playground Games' Torben Tuesday for Update 35, where they showed this on their whiteboard? This looked like a clue for a Super 7 feature, with the reverse 9s possibly being an Easter egg to a scene from Back to the Future. But supposedly, according to Mike Brown, this was a clue for Forza Horizon 5's Events Lab. But I'm not so sure still. Why? Because those reverse 9s are too reminiscent of Back to the Future, more so than what was actually shown in the Events Lab for Forza Horizon 5. And during this time, the DeLorean was just featured in Forza Street, meaning that they must have recently regained their license to use the DeLorean back in a Forza game again, as the last time a DeLorean was featured in a Forza title was back in Motorsport 4. My theory is that they were planning to bring it into Horizon 4, but decided to leave a quote-unquote most requested car for Horizon 5, as it would make the car list look more impressive. Number 3, the BMW M8 Coupe. This request has always intrigued me, as back over a year ago when I made a similar video, the BMW M8 was also the third most requested car, and over a year later, it still holds its spot. To me, I do see the appeal though. It's a big, fast luxury grand tourer, and being the first ever road-going 8 Series BMW in the Forza franchise, who wouldn't be excited to drive this? In recent months, the BMW M8 was newly brought in to the Crew 2, and as awesome as that was to cruise across America, to me, the physics and handling of a Horizon game is right at a sweet spot. And although it was never included in Horizon 4 due to whatever reason, surely this will be added either at launch of Horizon 5 or possibly in a car pass or future updates later on. Number 2, the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. So the latest Aventador we got in the Forza franchise was the Aventador SV or Super Veloce, and that was featured as a DLC car at launch of Forza Horizon 3, which is almost 5 years old now. Since then, Lamborghini have only had a couple of new Aventadors, one being the Aventador S, and the other is of course the one that we want for the Horizon franchise, the SVJ. This was at one point the most requested car for Forza Horizon 4, and I do have a feeling that we will get this car for Horizon 5, as the entire Lamborghini collection seems to be running a little dry in terms of fresh new vehicles. And with the SVJ being featured in many other racing games like Need for Speed Heat and Project Cars 3, including a full working interior, this is one Lamborghini Playground Games shouldn't omit from their car list. And lastly, number 1, the Toyota Supra Mark V. Talk about most requested, my goodness. I'm sure around 70% of all the car suggestions that I get on one of my videos include the Mark V Supra. Now, although in the real world, this is often left unwanted compared to some of its rivals or siblings like the BMW M2, it's a new Toyota into the Forza franchise, guys. And truthfully, it's probably the most exciting one with a rich history behind it. This request came closer to reality when Toyota as a manufacturer decided to grant game developers license to use their vehicles again, hence why Horizon 4 didn't launch with any Toyotas and was only brought back in late 2019. All Lexuses and Toyotas, however, were all vehicles that's been featured in a Forza game before, so we actually haven't seen a new Toyota in a Forza franchise for for a very long time now. But with TJ Hunt saying that he gave Playground Games all the CAD files to his Speed Hunters Mark V Supra body kit, I have a very strong feeling that we might get this Supra at launch. So there we have it guys, 8 of the most requested cars that we never got in Forza Horizon 4, and fingers crossed we may get these in Forza Horizon 5. Hopefully in a couple of weeks time, Playground Games will reveal more of some of the new cars that they will be bringing in for the game, and who knows, maybe we may see some of these requests being granted. But if you have any other cars that you would like to see, make sure to write it down in the comment section below. I do read your comments guys. And lastly, if you guys would like to see more Forza Horizon 5 news and possibly some early gameplay, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.